last year I sat down, did like a mini 3-question interview with you or whatever, and I said, what do fighters do? What would you tell fighters that they're wasting their time on? Something to that effect.
Yeah, I said
and
social media.
You said being on their phones all the freaking time on social media, just nose buried in it.
Yeah.
And back then, I got to tell you, I was like, okay, I see your point, but is this not a sport that thrives on attention and social media and relevance on the internet like no other? And that's true. But now on the flip side, I'm starting to see the other side of the coin where it's just like, just freaking be great.
And that'll speak for, look at Volk. Look at Volk.
Right. So what I've kind of realized is will take you longer to get to the top.
Yep.
You'll be more ready to be there.
Yep.
And you will not be a flash in the pan.
Yep. Here's how I look at it. We won't name names, but I see these guys tweeting before they go out, getting ready to go out. Fight night. See you guys soon. You're thinking about freaking Twitter and people you don't know before you walk out in the fight, and now you got all this pressure on yourself about how you just got your ass kicked, and now you got to go tell everybody, hey, this is what happened. Well, hey, this guy did this, or well, hey, this happened this or this. Dude, who gives a fuck about what people who don't know you think? This is the weirdest thing ever. If you could go back 20 years and be like, hey, there's somebody in the middle of Missoula, Montana who doesn't know you, but you're going to think about them and every action that you do, and you're going to make sure that you keep talking to them in this empty space that isn't real called the internet, and making sure that they're okay with you, but you're never going to meet them. What is this, a weird pen pal? Like, what are we doing here? I mean, why do you care about what people say who don't know you? And then this built the trolls because they were like, oh, I can get a reaction. I'm a fat fucking loser who's sitting at my house right now doing absolutely nothing. I can reach out and touch this person and get a reaction from them. This person that's trained their whole life to go inside that octagon, man. It's something special, man. You got to respect everybody in the UFC. I respect. And I see these comments, fucking loser, fucking tool, you're a bum. And I just think to myself, man, that's so sad that these people are so pathetic and lost that they want to reach out and hurt somebody else that they've never even met. It's very strange to me, but the athletes allow that by getting so involved and caring about it. And I understand the relevance. Is Volkanovski relevant?
Yeah.
Has he ever been classless? Never. Does he ever say crazy shit on the internet? Never. Does he ever really talk shit? I mean, I just don't see it. What do I see? Class and winning. And I always say winning solves everything. Look at Brandon. He's about as sweet as it fucking gets, man. Mm-hmm. And, winning or fighting your ass off or whatever. People respect that, man. You don't need to say anything. And it's okay if you want to market yourself and all that. But, man, there's so much now that people kind of tune you out. I feel like if you keep on, every day you got to post. And every day, do you need that affirmation? I don't. And I get it that people are making money off this. And, I am a little bit older, I mean, I know I'm 42, but I'm just at that generation where we grew up with rotary phones and there was no cell phones till 2007 is when I got an iPhone, or whatever, 27. Yeah.
So I didn't have a phone until I was in college, and even then it was calls.
Yeah.
Calls
so
only.
I remember beepers. You know what I mean? So it's just this is how we grew up, and I feel so fortunate for that to be able to engage here, and people find comfort in this. They do this all the time, right? Like they're like, everyone's doing this, so they don't have to engage you. But the reality is you try to talk to some of these younger people and you're like, hey, how you doing? And they can't look at you in the face. They can't engage you and have that dialogue because they're not used to it. And I'm not blaming them. This is the sign of the times. But what I would tell the athletes is your phone going to help you inside the octagon? Are your followers that you don't know going to help you inside the octagon? The only person that's going to help you is you. So why don't you stay focused on the job? I
did Q&A at UFC X with Gordon Ryan, and a blue belt from the crowd asked him, we took some fan questions, and a blue belt said, what's your advice? I'm, 2-stripe blue belt. I want to be like you someday. I want to compete on the world stage of jiu-jitsu. And Gordon just gave the best answer. He says, focus on being the best in the world, the very best 100%. In the world. You can cultivate your personality 100%. After the fact. Yep. If you're not the best in the world, nobody cares. It doesn't really mean much.
Nobody cares. And to that point, I don't do a lot of media. I don't post my guys on Instagram, hey, blah, 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 after the fight. Yo, 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 here we are in the octagon. Yo, yo, yo. It's so fucking cheesy, man, and so classless. It's like, dude, we are the best of the best. This is the highest level there is. This is the NFL. I don't see Bill Belichick going, hey, yo, check me out. Yo, look at my rings, you know?
Yeah.
I don't see NFL coaches acting like jackasses on their Instagram to get attention. It makes me think that there's a lot of kind of fakers in our game, man, that have kind of infiltrated in here in the last few years, that they're, you know, this is their way of trying to sneak in and make themselves relevant. And I think when I see coaches playing the Instagram game, I just look at them like, man, you know, I know what you're about, dude. I don't even want to talk to you. I never need to have a conversation with you, because I see you putting yourself first. I see it when the guy wins. Here you are. You're right away. Your mind is on you and how you can make this work for you. Hey, motherfucker, it ain't about you. Those gloves, you're not wearing them. You ain't the one that won or lost. You got to be there for your guy, and it's part of just kind of the meritocracy of the sport, man. Respect the game, you know. And I'm not saying don't use social media. I'm not saying don't use Instagram. I've got it. I put our show on there. But my guys come first, man. This just isn't about me, you know. And I think coaches, it's really important for them. I don't know, man. I mean, I hear this from fighters because they tell me, hey, you see this coach, you see that coach. And I don't talk about coaches. I will never speak about another coach's name. I just think it's unprofessional. But fighters see it, man. Your fighters see what you're doing, dude. They know that you don't give a shit about them, or that you've got half your mind on the money and on your own clout, and not half the mind on watching the fucking third round. So it's just something I stay away from. I think it's really important as an athlete and also as a coach to really kind of watch that and really be careful on who you're giving attention to and what you're putting value on.
Yeah. The problem and the dilemma is that our sport is filled with a bunch of individuals that get to make their own name however they want. And so in the case of like NFL, the Patriots are going to be the Patriots. Yeah. Now you can be a loud Patriot. Well, you probably won't play for the Patriots, but you can try to be a personable, more of a personality in the NFL. Might not fit in the locker room as well.
Got to be a receiver.
Certainly,
got to be a receiver for that. You got to be a receiver for that.
But it's not going to directly pay off. You're going to get paid your NFL contract based on how good you are and how much you help the team win. In MMA, it is tricky. In individual sports, you're going to get way more money if you bring that much more attention to the table. So I get the juxtaposition of it.
You do, but let's not lie here. Like, again, we go back to Volk.
Again, your longevity is determined by how good you are.
That's right. And these guys that build up an online persona, they fall faster than everybody else because everyone's like, you're fucking fake, man. You're like, you've lost 2 in a row or 3 in a row. You can't beat anybody ranked. Like, you're not really that guy. So I just think, and let me say this, I do completely agree with that, you know, these guys are young guys trying to make it in life, man. And God bless them. They're trying to get sponsors. They're trying to deal with the landscape. But I got to go back to, I see them tweeting right before the fight and then right after the fight.
It's time to just put it away.
Yeah, it's like, dude, so the fight's happening. Okay, so you built up your social media so you get sponsors, this and that. You're explaining yourself, man.
Yeah.
You're explaining yourself to everybody. You're explaining why you lost, and you're giving right away. You're talking about it on the way out and on the way in. So your mind is linked to everybody, and that's not healthy. And I've seen some, even my own guys, I mean, it's just a lot for them to handle, man, the comments, and then, you know, afterwards, you know, the DMs, and you lost me fucking money, like blah, blah, blah. You just got to tune that noise out. That's fine. You can do your promotional stuff, but you can't let it affect you. And I think it does affect a lot of guys, and I can understand why. No one wants to hear mean stuff. So you just got to really watch. It's a fine line right there, a very fine line.
Last thing, do you have a quick thought on what you see as the next trend in MMA in terms of like how people train, how people fight? Like what is happening right now?
I told my team this probably 4 or 5 years ago. Everyone will fight both sides very soon. And it's already happening. We saw it with Volk against Yair. We saw Yair do it. We just talked about Dustin doing it. I mean, all these guys, maybe not every fighter, but all of them, even Gaethje, we talked about
both stances.
Both stances, because it gives them more opportunities. If I can fight out of both stances, I can give you twice the looks, right? The other guy can't study the things I'm going to do. If I'm orthodox, he adjusts, I go southpaw. If I'm southpaw and he adjusts, I go orthodox. I can constantly mix and match and change the picture. So, and then also better athletes. I mean, I've got so many emails and DMs Hey, I just graduated. I played D1 football, XYZ. Hey, I just got done. I was in the majors 1 year, whatever. All these athletes now. Whereas before, it was like, man, it was more guys that weren't as traditionally athletic that were fighting fights in 05, 06, 07. Now in 23, it's super freaking athletes, man, and guys that are fast and strong and big, and you're going to see that just kind of keep going on and on and on. And the guys that aren't athletic, they're just not going to survive at this level, just like the NFL.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was the last one, right? He was so smart.
The sport's evolving to a level where you're not going to be a gritty guy who found solace in Brazilian jiu-jitsu in high school, lost a bunch of weight, 100%. And made your way to the UFC.
Yeah,
that's going away.
You're not going to be that guy. And I mean, let's look at football. Look at the quarterback position. It's the exact same thing. I mean, look at Brady, right? You look at your Marino. You look at a guy like Brady.
Look at Josh Allen.
You look like Peyton. You look at Peyton, right?
Yeah.
So remember when a quarterback could be 5'10", it wasn't a big deal. Okay, 5'11". Now if they're under 6 foot, they're like, well, you can't do this.
Yeah, you can't.
So you
play
had Breeze and these guys. Then now you had your Peytons and your guys that were taller, but they couldn't move, but they could stand in the pocket and throw. Now you got your Josh Allen. He's 6'5", 240-pound monster who can run you over or pass touchdowns. And then you got Mahomes. Yeah. This guy was a freaking baseball player. I mean, he can do the athleticism from just the last 30 years in football.
Right.
It's the same thing that's going to happen in MMA. It's the evolution.
They call you, you get D1 football players, and they're like, can you get me to the UFC?
100%. Well, they're just like, hey, I'm an athlete, and I don't want to stop competing. And like, they come in the gym, and it's like I talked to them for 28 minutes, and they figured out like so many things. Whereas then I get another guy, he's a tough guy, but he just doesn't have the movement in his body or the athleticism to do it.
Yeah.
Not at that speed, the speed that's required for the UFC.
Yeah. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Full episodes of Fitz Nation are streaming on UFC Fight Pass. So much for fight fans to enjoy on Fight Pass. You can find the link in the description to sign up. And for those of you on the go, you can listen to Fitz Nation wherever you find podcasts.